Namaste children, hope you are all doing well. I'm back with another video of lesson chemical reactions and equations. In previous video you learned how to represent a chemical reaction by a chemical equation. In this video you will learn how to differentiate between a balanced and an unbalanced equation and also understand how to make chemical equations more informative. So let us start with our topic. Consider case 1 where we have the equation H2 plus O2 gives H2O. Here hydrogen and oxygen are the reactants and the water molecule formed is the product. What we are going to do is we are going to record these following things in the table. In the first column we will list the elements which are present in the above given equation. In the second column we will write down the number of atoms of each element present in the reactant sites. Similarly, in the third column, we will write down the number of atoms of each element present in the product sites. So let's begin with the first column. Here you can see hydrogen combines with oxygen to form water molecule. So which are the combining elements here? Hydrogen and oxygen. And the same elements obviously you will find in product. So here only there are two elements, hydrogen and oxygen. Now, how many number of atoms of hydrogen are present in the reactant side? Here you can see it is written H2. The subscript 2 indicates there are 2 hydrogen atoms. Similarly, how many atoms of oxygen are there? O2. So it means 2 oxygen atoms. Now, coming to the product side, how many hydrogen atoms are there in the product side? See, you have the formula H2O here. So it means 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. Now consider case 2 where we have the equation Zn plus H2SO4 gives ZnSO4 plus H2. That means zinc reacts with sulfuric acid to form zinc sulfate and hydrogen. Again, we will record these following things in the table here. So list the elements first. So what we have here, Zn, hydrogen, sulfur, oxygen. The same elements are there in the products also. So we have the elements here. Now, how many number of zinc atoms are there in the reactant side? How many is there? 1. Hydrogen, 2. Sulfur, 1. And what about oxygen? It is O4, so 4. Now, coming to the product side, how many atom of zinc is there? Again 1. Sulfur, 1. Oxygen, 4. And what about hydrogen? H2, so 2. Now, what we have to do is you have to analyze very carefully the table under case 1 and case 2. Can you find any interesting observation here? You can see that in the table under case 1, the number of atoms of hydrogen is equal in reactant side and product side. But the number of atoms of oxygen in reactants and products are not equal. But in the table under case 2, you can see that the number of atoms of each element in reactants and the product sides are equal. So, such equation in which the total number of atoms of each element are not same on both sides, that is on reactant side and product side. Such equations are called as what equations? Unbalanced equation. And such a chemical equation is a skeletal equation of a chemical reaction. Now, can you tell me what type of reaction is that which is under case 2? By now you have easily understood. Here the total number of atoms of each elements are same on both sides. So this equation can be called as what? It will be called as a balanced equation. So how can you define a balanced equation? A balanced chemical equation is that in which the total number of atoms of each element are equal on both sides of the equation. Quite often the question arises why a chemical equation needs to be balanced. Actually, the need for balancing the equation arises from the fact that chemical reactions must follow the principle of law of conservation of mass. Let us understand this further. For that, let's recall the law of conservation of mass. The law states that mass can neither be created nor be destroyed in a chemical reaction. That is, in a chemical reaction, the mass of the reactants and the mass of the products remains equal. It does not changes. Consider case 1 where we have the equation H2 plus O2 gives H2O. Here we are going to calculate the total mass of the reactants and products for this equation. For that, we need to record the following in the table. In the first column of the table, we have elements and its mass. For the above equation, we have the elements hydrogen with atomic mass 1 and oxygen with atomic mass 16. In the second column, we need to calculate the mass of each element present in the reactant side. In the reactant side, we have H2, so that there are 2 atoms of hydrogen. So the mass of 2 atoms of hydrogen is equal to 2 into mass of hydrogen, that is 2 into 1 equal to 2. Similarly, there are 2 atoms of oxygen in the reactant side. Therefore, the mass of 2 atoms of oxygen is equal to 2 into mass of oxygen, that is 2 into 16 equal to 32. Now, in order to calculate the total mass of all the elements in the reactants, we need to sum up the mass of each element we have found here. So, total mass equal to 2 plus 32, which is equal to 34. Now, in the third column, we need to calculate the mass of each element present in the product side. In the product side, we have H2O. That is, there are 2 atoms of hydrogen in the product side. Therefore, the mass of 2 atoms of hydrogen is equal to 2 into 1 equal to 2. Since there is only 1 atom of oxygen in the product side, the mass of 1 atom of oxygen is equal to 1 into 16 equal to 16. Therefore, total mass of the products is equal to 2 plus 16, that is equal to 18. Now consider case 2 where we have the equation Zn plus H2SO4 gives ZnSO4 plus H2. That is, zinc reacts with sulfuric acid to give zinc sulfate and hydrogen. Here also we need to calculate the total mass of the reactants and the total mass of the products. So again we need to tabulate the following in the table given here. In the first column we have elements and its masses. For the above equation, the elements we have zinc with atomic mass 65, hydrogen with atomic mass 1, sulfur with atomic mass 32 and oxygen with atomic mass 16. In the second column, again we need to calculate the mass of each element present in the reactant side. In the reactants, we have 1 atom of zinc. Therefore, the mass of 1 atom of zinc is equal to 1 into 65, that is equal to 65. There are 2 hydrogen atoms, so 2 into 1 equal to 2, 1 sulfur atom, so 1 into 32 equal to 32, and 4 atoms of oxygen, so 4 into 16 equal to 64. So the total mass of the reactants is equal to the sum of all the mass of elements present in the reactants. So total mass equal to 65 plus 2 plus 32 plus 64, which is equal to 163. Now in the third column, we first find out the mass of each element present in the product side. So we have 1 atom of zinc. Therefore, mass of 1 atom of zinc is equal to 1 into 65 equal to 65. 1 atom of sulfur. Therefore, 1 into 32 equal to 32. 4 atoms of oxygen. Therefore, 4 into 16 equal to 64. And 2 atoms of hydrogen. Therefore, 2 into 1 equal to 2. And the total mass equal to 65 plus 2 plus 32 plus 64, which is again 163. Now, observe the values of total mass of reactants and products under case 1 and case 2. You can see that under case 1, the total mass of the reactants and products are not equal. It's 34 and 18 respectively. Whereas under case 2, the total mass of the reactants and products are equal. It's 163 in both cases. What could be the possible reason for this? Why total mass of the reactants and products is different for case 1 and equal for case 2? See, in case 1, the equation H2 plus O2 gives H2O is an unbalanced equation. And since it is an unbalanced, you know the number of atoms in reactants and products are not equal. And hence, when we calculate the total mass of the reactants and products for this equation, it was also found to be not equal. Now in case 2, you can see that The equation zinc plus sulfuric acid gives zinc sulfate plus hydrogen is a balanced equation. And since it is a balanced equation, the number of atoms in reactants and products are equal. And hence, when we calculate the total mass of reactants and products for this equation, it was also found to be equal. As you know, according to the law of conservation of mass, the mass of reactants should be equal to the mass of the products. After analyzing the table under case 1 and case 2, we can conclude that an unbalanced equation does not follow the law of conservation of mass, whereas a balanced equation follows the law of conservation of mass. In other words, the number of atoms that are present in the reactants has to balance the number of atoms that are present in the products. And that's why we need to balance a chemical equation according to the law of conservation of mass. A balanced equation merely gives you an idea of the amount of reactants and products. It does not give any information regarding the physical states of substances, reaction conditions, evolution or absorption of energy, and so on. So, in order to make chemical reactions more informative, we can add following symbols or informations as discussed below. The physical state of reactants and products can be expressed by using the symbol S for solid state, L for liquid state, G for gaseous state, and AQ for aqueous solution. For example, we have an equation here where sodium metal reacts with water to give sodium hydroxide and hydrogen. Here sodium is present in solid state, therefore indicated by the letter S. H2O is present in liquid state, therefore indicated by letter L. Sodium hydroxide is present as aqueous solution, therefore indicated by the letters AQ, and hydrogen is present as gas, therefore indicated by the letter G. Next, concentration of the reactants. The concentration of the reactants used in the form of solutions can be shown by the word DIL for dilute solution and CONC for concentrated solution. For example, here zinc, which is in solid state, reacts with dilute sulfuric acid to give zinc sulfate, which is present as aqueous solution, and hydrogen, which is present as gaseous state. If a precipitate is formed in a reaction, it is indicated by a downward arrow, and if a gas is evolved during a chemical reaction, it is indicated by an upward arrow. For example, sodium reacts with water to give sodium hydroxide and hydrogen. Here the hydrogen gas is evolved, therefore it can be indicated by an upward arrow instead of writing the letter G. Second example, sodium chloride reacts with silver nitrate to form silver chloride and sodium nitrate. Here the silver chloride formed is a precipitate and hence it is indicated by a downward arrow. Next, the specific conditions of the reaction like temperature, pressure, catalyst, etc. are written above or below the arrow in a chemical reaction. For example, when potassium chlorate KClO3 is heated in presence of manganese dioxide as catalyst, it decomposes to form potassium chloride and oxygen. The triangle above the arrow indicates that here heat is applied to initiate the chemical reaction, and below the arrow the catalyst manganese dioxide used is also mentioned. Second example, when carbon monoxide combines with hydrogen under a pressure of 340 atmosphere, it forms methanol. Here the pressure under which the reaction takes place is mentioned above the arrow. Next, the evolution of heat or absorption of heat can be indicated by writing plus heat on the right hand side or left hand side. For example, during burning of coal, carbon combines with oxygen to form carbon monoxide and large amount of heat is produced. The produced heat is indicated by writing plus heat on the right hand side. If during a chemical reaction heat is absorbed, it is indicated by writing plus heat on the left hand side. I hope this video has been helpful for understanding balanced and unbalanced equation and also in making chemical equations more informative. I'll be back with another video on the topic balancing of equation. Until then, study well and keep smiling. Thank you, children.